Welcome to another session of the Hallelujah Gardening Guide. My name's George Malkmus, founder of Hallelujah Acres, and today we're back in the gardens of George and Rhonda, located here in the villages of Hallelujah Acres. Today we want to look at our edible landscape and show you a little bit about the progress that we have seen in the growth of these plants since we planted them approximately a year ago. Blueberries are very easy to grow. They're very high in oxidants, and we use them freely in our smoothies as long as they remain. In fact, we usually are able to pick extra and put them in freezer bags and extend our season with them for a good distance, even into the fall. As far as growing them, they are extremely easy. The most important thing, as we talked about previously, was preparing the ground, because they just do not grow well in heavy clay, and so we put a lot of organic matter into the ground before we planted them a year ago. And then we just fertilize them a couple times a year, and they pretty well take care of themselves as long as we keep the water to them. They're pretty well pesticide and fungus free. So now let's take a look at the thornless blackberries that we planted last year and see how they're doing. A year ago we planted these thornless blackberries, and they're wonderful because they are thornless. You will see there are no thorns upon the vine, so picking them is a breeze. And when we planted these about a year ago, they were only sticks about 4 inches in height. And here we see the growth in 1 year of these thornless blackberries. Once again, you can see they're heavy with fruit, and new fruit even still coming along as the flowers will set. And these will be ready, these first ones will be ready probably in about 2 weeks for the table. There's no way that we will be able to eat all the blackberries that come from these vines, but that's where freezing comes in, and we will package them and freeze them and probably be able to eat frozen thornless blackberries right into the winter months. Once again, like the blueberries, they like a soil that has a lot of compost in it, and they like the water also, and we also fertilize them several times a year with an organic fertilizer. But as far as pests are concerned, very little to be concerned about, and they are so rewarding for little effort with the amount of fruit that we get from our efforts. Last year we planted these figs, and we did get a few figs from them last season, but this year it looks like we're going to have quite a few figs. As you can see, they're setting at the joints up and down the stem of this plant, and I love figs. It's so wonderful to go out and to pick them right off the tree. They're sweet, and they're just a wonderful source of nutrition as well. Figs like a lot of heat, and so the hot summers they just love, but we need to be sure to keep the water to them like with all of the other fruit that we talked about. And we do fertilize them several times a year to keep their growth constant. And these fig trees over the years will grow 8, 10, 12 feet in height, and just yield an incredible amount of wonderful, tasty fruit.
Hi, I'm Willie from Hallelujah Acres, and I have another quick gardening tip for you to help you get your garden off to an early start. Today we're going to talk about sweet corn, and I've got a variety called candy corn here, and these are untreated seed because of course we want to grow our vegetables organically. But these seeds, if I just planted them in cold, wet soil, are not going to germinate very well, and they might actually just rot in the soil. So one thing that you can do to help them along is to plant them in a pot like this and start them indoors. And I'm just placing the seeds down about 1 inch below the surface of the soil. I'll water these and keep them in the house just for a few days to a week until they germinate, and as soon as they start greening up, you'll see a little tip of green emerge from the soil. They're ready to transplant outside. And what most people don't realize is that the seed won't germinate in cold, wet soil, but once the plant has sprouted, it actually can tolerate some fairly cold temperatures. So this is another quick tip from Hallelujah Acres.
1 year ago, we planted these grape bushes. They were just little sticks in the ground when we put them in a year ago. Since then, they have traveled up a string that we had attached to this wire. Not only have they traveled up the string, but also the length of the wire. And this year, you can see we're going to have an incredible crop of Scuppernong and Muscadine grapes. They will take a couple more months to mature, but you can see we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful crop. We like to eat these right off the vine, but we also like to juice them. They make a wonderful, wonderful juice. And so we'll be enjoying these grapes probably right up until the Christmas season. Japanese beetles, they just love the grapes, and they'll eat up the leaves if we don't do something about it. So as I see them here, just starting really the first time I've seen them is today, we're going to have to get out some Japanese beetle traps, and we will catch them and we will get rid of them in that manner. Down here in the south, grapes are a very easy crop. Except for the Japanese beetles that we already talked about, they have very few problems, either funguses or other insects. And you just keep the moisture to them, put some fertilizer on them a couple times a year, and as you can see, they produce an incredible amount of fruit. Now, at the end of the season, during the winter months, we will go back and we'll take almost all this new growth off and just cut them back to about a 4 inches from the main stem. And then next year, they'll do the same thing. They'll just come out with this plethora of growth. And each year, give us more and more grapes for our efforts. So now you've seen what 1 year has provided us as far as edible landscape is concerned, and the wonderful, wonderful fruit that it will be yielding just 1 year from the time we have planted it. See you next time.